What must I do if there's conflict and the group's about to end? Hi, I'm Louise from OTGrow. Welcome to our YouTube channel. So if you have a passion or calling for groups and group therapy, then you've come to the right place because here we discuss tips, tools, and techniques to make you an effective group therapist. So today the question is, what do I do when there's conflict in my group and the group is about to end? And that's typically 5 minutes before the group, and you can't use your normal technique of really kind of unpacking and exploring what were the triggers, what did people hear. You can't use your normal technique of resolving conflict, or at least coming to a place where both parties have heard each other, because there's only 5 minutes left and it might be a really big issue that has been raised in the group. And so what Yalom calls the 30 seconds technique, and he describes it in his inpatient therapy book, he talks about the 30 seconds technique, which is a great technique for you to use then. So the 30 seconds technique is to say, all right, the group is not got time to unpack this. This is an important issue. So what we're going to do is create a platform for 30 seconds, anybody can make a statement about what has just happened. And of course, you're going to try and start with the two people that started or was the center of the conflict. And you give them literally 30 seconds to say their say. And they can use their 30 seconds in whatever way they want to. They can express their emotions, they can comment on somebody's behavior, they can try to have the group understand where they were coming from. So it doesn't really matter, but basically they have 30 seconds to say their say, and that is it. And there's no further unpacking. There's not, how do you feel about it? There's not, does anybody want to comment on what was being said? They literally have 30 seconds. And then you move to the second person in the conflict and you ask them, give them the platform for 30 seconds to be able to, again, and they can spend 30 seconds to explain either what they are experiencing for the group to understand where they're coming from. They can use it to comment on what the other person said. It really is up to them. So you're giving them 30 seconds to say their say. And then maybe what you can do is bring it in and say to the group, all right, where does that leave our group here and now? What's really important to keep in mind is that a group doesn't ever come back to this moment in time. That's why our here and now principle and technique is so powerful. So don't fool yourself to think you can go, all right, we're pressing pause now. And after we've pressed pause, tomorrow we'll come back and we'll pick up where we left off. It will never happen. People are in different places. The dynamics in the group has shifted. Things have happened to people. They've grown. They have experienced things in the interim before they come back to the group. So it's important to realize that you're never going to come back to this moment. So how do we just hold this moment? And it might be a good place for the therapist also to say, a lot of times in our life, we don't end things with a full stop. Sometimes they end in the middle of whatever, middle of a relationship, a middle of a crisis, a middle of a love relationship. So what do we do with that? And you can use that then to end off the group and say, all right, this might be uncomfortable, but let's go around and everybody can either say, what do they take from having ended this group in an uncomfortable place? Or we can go around and everybody in the group gets to say, what is it they'd like to come back to, even though we know it's not going to be the exact moment. In other words, you're ending the group off not only with the 30 seconds technique that Yalom describes, but you're also allowing the rest of the group to kind of say, well, where does that leave us? Because it is an uncomfortable place to leave mid-air. So maybe you can try that next time you have limited time, 30-second techniques for a limited time when there's conflict or something really big has been brought up in the group and you don't have time to unpack it or explore it further. I hope that's going to help you. In the meantime, till next time, happy facilitation.